Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to room 207. You're now about to embark on the second level of engineering mechanical-based design in this classroom. And I'm excited to have you. This is hands down my favorite class to teach, this coupled with the next level 3, in that it pretty much embodies, what I, had at one time taken on as a career path. And it incorporates design from a much more advanced level to include the concept of manufacturing far more readily than before. So welcome, and let's get started with a little intro. A lot of this is going to be review for you guys and ladies because you've been in this classroom before, but there are little nuances that differentiate engineering 2-3 from that of drafting 1. We put an even greater emphasis on trying to work with teachers within their own classroom curriculum. In other words, the woodshop teacher, while new this year, hopefully he'll be on board with interacting with us as his predecessor was. The art teachers, the math teachers, the drone technology new teacher, hopefully. We're going to be working with the Sea Perch group next door over at ROTC. I want you to come to me with whatever it is that you're looking to get out of this class. What I want is to gain exposure to the workplace over and above what you get out of this class. So in any event of a trip that takes us outside the classroom, it's not going to be just a walkthrough type scenario. It's going to be a collaboration of sorts, and we have goals and play for this year to get out into a work site and actually take part in a collaborative project. And that involves academic institutions and private businesses, several of which you've already been exposed to before in the way of Cape Fear Molten Tool and Cape Fear Community College. If not for sake of a mutual project endeavor, for sake of having a walkthrough, many of you have at those facilities. We have extracurricular club activities that I want you to be aware of at this next level, ones that you can really get a lot of, especially for preparing for your college preparatory exams as well as your job career pathway prospects. And those opportunities are such where I want to really be able to work with you on gaining you that exposure that you're looking for. Classroom documentation. So I've never really laid it out quite in the same way, but as you could imagine, in mechanical engineering design, our base software program is going to be Inventor. So we're going to be working exclusively out of Inventor from here on out. Some of you have already, one of you at least is already certified in Inventor end user, the legend, Mr. Sanders. Now what you're going to be looking to do, if you're either Engineering 2 or Engineering 3 in the future, having certified an end user status, now you're going to go for certified pro user. It's just a factor of 10. It's going to be that much more challenging, but only insofar as being able to be that much more fluid with the software, which by the time you're ready to take the cert exam, you will be. We're going to get involved in class projects far more often than before, to include that of machining initiatives. Community projects, I mentioned earlier the partnerships that we have in play. We're going to really try to secure some monies and secure some times in order to get out there and take part in these project initiatives. And then lastly, with respect to your certification exam, just know that this year it's going to be a little bit different. In addition to taking your G-Metrics preparatory courseware studies, you're going to take a G-Metrics test for modules 1 and 2, which is basically the same material, only it's a little bit more reminiscent of how you're going to feel under a time watch, when taking the actual Certiport testing. I went through this past summer and really walked through it myself for the first time in some time, and I found it to be very beneficial, and we need to incorporate that test mode. So right out of the gate, these 4 pieces of information, not all that unlike what you've done before, with drafting one. We want to make sure that we get the network policy in place because it's the start of a new school year, and I know it was part of your homeroom packet, but I'd rather source it for you. Same with the image release. Not everybody gets this, but this is important, especially for us because we're going to be out in the community and we're going to be perhaps exposing ourselves and our images to social media, but I don't want to subject you to that if you're not willing. And then lastly, the syllabus. Make sure you take that home, get it signed. A little bit different this year in that, in addition to the obvious different class format you have to review the material on, we're going to enforce a new make-up attendance policy. We'll talk about that more as the semester wears on, but while we've been pretty lenient in past in here in terms of turn-in dates, while we may not adhere totally to a 5-day turnaround, there is always extenuating circumstances to that. We will be matter-of-factly drawn to a close any past due work outside of a quarter, meaning every 4 weeks, whenever you get that interim or actual formal report card, that's going to be the end of whatever it is to turn in during that period. That way, we keep you honest, and it's in your best interest to follow suit. Classroom management, same as before, only a little new wrinkle. We're going to have the Remind app in play this year, so you will see the Remind app PDF in Google Classroom under week 1. It's also going to be part and parcel to what I hand out in the way of a syllabus, as an introductory letter to your parents. Please, please, please get on that as quickly as possible because that's going to be my go-to method of communicating announcements. I'll use Google Classroom like I have before for sake of, deploying material for consumption and receiving assignments that you complete. And then as a backdrop, always know that you can go to the Ashley site and there's the faculty website. It has all the proper links to everything that you need out of this class to include Google Classroom. But more importantly, it's one-stop shopping if you need to get a hold of me or need to, access any of the vast array of videos that we have out there. And then lastly, I just wanted to emphasize the extracurricular club activities. You're aware, no doubt, of the Design for Manufacturing Club. That's a club that, should be right in your wheelhouse, time permitting, because it's basically an extension of what we're going to be doing in this class. So it gives you that much more exposure to the equipment and exposure to community business partners in lieu of hopefully one-time internship at some point down the future. And then the Chick-fil-A Leader Academy, which is a nationally recognized club activity that's very, very much worth your while to get involved in. We have strong leaders in both clubs, and I can put you in touch with them if you have any further questions. And now, community partners. I mentioned Cape Fear Community College and Cape Fear Mold and Tool already. We also work with Sawyer Sherwood and Associate and Kevin Furman in the architectural realm. I want you to be aware of that just for the sake of doubling down on what it is that we try to do in here at the second, third level of schooling, whether it be architectural or engineering. We really want you to gain, again, that much more exposure to the workplace. Beyond the classroom and beyond the collaboration with the business partners that I mentioned earlier, you should know, and most of you have caught wind of this already before, but we will bring in guest speakers, from the professional realm as well as the academic side, to include that of Ms. Schoenfelder from PIT, hopefully Dr. Amy Reamer again from UNCW, and I'm trying to secure some engineers and some surgeons from the local community as well. I briefly touched on this earlier, but I really want to try and work with the art and construction departments a lot more this year. It's never easy because everybody's got their own agenda, but we're going to try to really coordinate that. And then briefly, even if it's no more than what we did last year, we really want to get together with Anderson Elementary. I think that's a great mentor program that we have going with them as well. Next, in terms of the differences between engineering 2 and 3. So it should be noted that design assemblies are where you really make the distinction between the two. In the curriculum, they stress inventor, advanced concepts versus introductory concepts with all the same categorical bullets in the Moodle, when describing both curriculums. However, another distinction to be made besides the ambiguous advanced versus introductory concept is that of assemblies. Assemblies are much more going to be a part of your wheelhouse in Engineering 3 as opposed to 2. We did get into it last year collectively as a group between Engineering 2 and 3 students, but the assemblies were a little bit more basic. This year it's going to be a little bit more advanced assembly work for the Engineering 3, and while Engineering 2 will be introduced to it, it's not going to be as emphasized. And it won't be as emphasized either when it comes to your state final. So with that said, there's going to be an emphasis on manufacturing that I think differentiates the two as well. And lastly, problem solving is one where you're going to be challenged more to design without a given set of specifications. Finally, job shadowing and internship opportunities are far more readily available for those that take on the added responsibility of going for Autodesk Inventor Certified Professional User. Believe me when I tell you, if you make that mark and really take Engineering 3 to that next level, there will be opportunities for you down the road. I'll make a point of ensuring that happens. Now, the last couple slides are just, the same as what you've seen before. Fire escape and emergency evacuation process. Take your essentials, follow me. We walk out this door, down the hall, and out the door towards the football field. Tornado alarm. We do the same thing, only we go in the tuck position along the wall directly behind me. Lockdown procedures, shelter in place. We maintain our position in the classroom. If we're forced to evacuate, then we'll follow the same route, only go beyond that to the baseball field. And then we'll drop the shades, place green cards on each door. Lastly, I want you to be proactive. Don't hesitate to touch base with me, not only on the club initiatives, job possibilities, projects that you'd be interested in taking on. I know, we have a few students that have interests that are going to be pulling them in one direction or another in terms of design work based on aiding and abetting their cause in another class. And I think that's great. But we're all in this together, so I really want to try and collectively work in personalizing this class as much as possible for you. Also know that there's career mentoring availability here, in that I'll work my butt off for you to put you in front of the right people, both locally and beyond the local providers, in trying to gain you a leg up in the job market if you're looking to go that route in parallel school, or to substitute for school for the time being. And lastly, find your target area of study. That's really what you want to come out of this class with. You're not going to have to pin it down. Nobody's asking you for that, but just find an area of study or multiple areas that are of interest to you that rely on the skill set that you're going to come away with in this class. And that, coupled with, the obvious end of semester credentials, will make you a success coming out of this class. But I'm happy that you're here. I'm excited to get started, and welcome to the class.